I'm going to take just a couple of minutes here and share a story with you that really touched my heart. And it's a story with a message, and so I'd like to really have you listen to it. In the city of Chicago, one cold, dark night, a blizzard was setting in, and a little boy was selling newspapers on the corner. People were inside out of the cold, but the little boy was so cold that he really wasn't even trying to sell any papers anymore. He walked up to a policeman and said, "Mister, you wouldn't happen to know where a poor boy could find a warm place to sleep tonight, would you? You see, I sleep in a box up around the corner there and down the alley, and it's awful cold. I sure would like to have a nice place to stay tonight." The policeman looked down at the little boy and said, "Well, I'll tell you what I want you to do. You go down the street to the big white house and knock on the door, and when they come to the door, all you have to say is John 3:16, and they'll let you in." So the boy did. He walked up the steps, knocked on the door, and the lady answered, and he just looked up at her and said, "John 3:16. And she said, "Come on in." So she took him in and sat him down in a split-bottom rocker in front of a great big fireplace, and she left, and he sat there for a while and thought to himself, John 3:16. I don't understand it, but it sure makes a cold boy warm. Well, later she came back and said, "Are you hungry?" He said, "Well, just a little. I haven't eaten in a couple of days, and I guess I could stand a little bit of food." The lady took him into the kitchen and sat him down at the table full of wonderful food, and he ate and ate until he couldn't eat anymore. And he just sat there and he thought to himself, John 3:16. I sure don't understand it, but it makes a hungry boy feel full. She took him upstairs to a bathroom with a huge bathtub filled with warm water. He sat there and he soaked for a while, and as he soaked, he thought to himself, John 3:16, I don't understand it, but it sure is making me clean. The lady came in and got him and took him to a room and tucked him into an old feather bed and pulled the covers up around his neck and kissed him good night, turned out the lights, and as he lay there in the dark, he looked out the window and saw the snow coming down. And he thought to himself, John 3:16, I don't understand it, but it sure makes a tired boy feel rested. The next morning she came up and took him down again to the same big table full of food, and he ate again. She took him over to that same old rocking chair in front of the fireplace. She got down a Bible this time and said, "Do you understand John 3:16? "No, ma'am, I don't." The first time I ever heard it was last night when the policeman just said to use it. And she opened the Bible to John 3:16 and began to explain to him about Jesus. And right there in front of that fireplace, he gave his heart and life to Jesus, and he sat there and thought, John 3:16, I still don't fully understand it, but it sure makes a lost boy feel safe. Now, of course, John 3:16 says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him might not perish, but have everlasting life."